challenge is a show and a game, and both of those things need someone to create them. Enter production. Now, I am full of everlasting love and gratitude for every individual who has ever worked on the production of this fantastic television show over the years. I applaud them often and loudly. I love them. I thank them. You are wonderful. However, it's been far from a perfect run for the challenge gods, and I've got a whole set of 10 takes related to their sometimes fuck-ups. Here we go. Number 1. You know that phrase I just used for the production team? Well, at Carrie11 on IG had a fantastic submission that said this, quote, "Hearing the phrase, the challenge gods makes me cringe," end quote. Carrie, I totally hear you. I actually kind of agree with you, which is why I added this in. I love this take, and I am sorry for the innumerable amount of times that I have brought pain to your ears from saying just that. Gods they are not. Mistakes they do make. Let's talk about a few more of them now. Number 2. Here's a simple one I'll take to my grave. Tori's cart was clearly broken in her elimination loss to Anissa on Double Agents. I'm sorry. She's just as strong as Anissa. She pulled just as fast the first time, and that thing stuck like bubblegum to the bottom side of an elementary school desk. She didn't throw a fit because that's her friend on the other side, but no way in hell Tori just gave up in that manner, and no way in hell she couldn't get that thing to tip over. Something was broken. They just chose not to do anything about it, which brings me to number 3. You know what did break and they did care to fix? That sand timer during the final elimination of Final Reckoning. You know, the season that Tony and Bananas rightfully should have won and deserved to win. That's right. If you didn't know, let me fill you in quick. Tony and Bananas shared a story recently on his podcast where when Tony and Bananas faced Natalie and Pauly, started as an eating contest between two people while the other two kept sand filled in a timer. Problem was, Tony and Bananas were dominating when Natalie and Pauly's sand timer stopped working. They stopped the elimination. They couldn't fix it, so they sent everyone home to be brought back the next day when it was a totally change to who can hold your hands over your head the longest. We all know Natalie beat Bananas. She did so fair and square. That has to be said. But it wasn't meant to be that competition. This was the second attempt at a second totally different game. It was meant to be Tony time on the food and Tony and Bananas time winning. And my bet is if they would have had that original design, they would have won the elimination. They would have went on to win the final 2. Number 4. Coral nearly dying during the gauntlet final is the scariest moment in challenge history, and it's all production's fault. How do you not even have an EpiPen? It's an EpiPen. It's a very simple thing. It's a very basic part of first aid medical care when you have tons of people running around doing crazy stuff out in nature. It's one of the first things you put on any medical release form. What are you allergic to? Don't worry. Most of those are taken care of short term by an EpiPen. We'll have one of those on site. Not in this case. Coral, literally the legend of legends, Coral, almost died on screen, and they showed it. They put it all on TV. It is absolutely wild. It is the scariest moment in the history of the show, bar none. Number 5, from scary to stupid, the dumbest medical decision production has ever made was allowing Evan to compete with a sports hernia for 3 daily challenges in a row on Fresh Meat 1. He seriously could have died, or at a minimum got severely, severely injured and messed up. And they just said, that's fine. Whatever the doctor says, it's your decision, not theirs. He freaking did a challenge where you pull a 300-pound sled through mud. That's literally listed on WebMD as the last possible thing a person with a sports hernia should be doing. I can't believe I have to say this, but thank God Coral popped her knee out, forcing Evan and Coral to go back to the hospital in secret, or else I fear he would have found a way to convince them to let him keep going. Listen to the doctors. They eventually got used to doing that, but in this case, a big mistake nearly was made. Number 6. Having the finalists of Challenge 2000 skydive in Solo Land should have led to someone going to jail. How is this allowed? It's very illegal nowadays. It should have been back then. Challenge 2000, final mission. They all go skydiving with the partner strapped to the back, a professional? No, not at all. They jumped out the plane with the professional, but then the professional said goodbye midair, and you get to go ahead and pull your chute and land on your own. You got to steer, you got to land. It's absolutely crazy. Yes, got really messed up. Amaya ends up in the hospital, and frankly, they were super lucky it was only the two of them. How they ever let that happen, why they ever let that happen, I do not know. Number 7. Sarah being sent home on X's 1 because her partner pulled Mandy's clothes off, and Kahutta being sent home on All Stars 2 because Casey was pregnant are tied for the biggest "it's not your fault" DQ screw jobs ever in the history of the show, and they should have been avoided. Just figure it out. 2 amazing people, 2 shit situations that have nothing to do with them. Just make something up on the fly. Let them stay. Find some way. Figure it out. Give them an opportunity to remain in the game. I know it's hard. I know it was a shit situation. I know you didn't have a backup standing right there, but figure it out. Make something up. It's the challenge. Everyone will be okay with it. We love Kahutta and Sarah. Moving on. Number 8. The Total Madness and All Stars 2 finals are complete embarrassments to the franchise. You've done how many seasons and you get it this wrong on this big a stage? That's all that needs to be said about those forever. Number 9. Puck being on Battle of the Sexes was a massive mistake born out of pure greed and disregard for cast comfort and safety. Letting Puck be on Battle of the Sexes in the first place was a mistake. Letting Puck stay after spitting on David was a mistake. Letting the cast convince you that Puck had to stay even when you asked him to leave was a mistake. Letting Puck get married on the season, stopping the entire production for it, making him the star of the show after all of that was a mistake. And letting Puck walk around with a machete all throughout the house in an angry rage was certainly a mistake. Number 10. I've said a lot of things, a lot of negative memories from production, but I stand here to tell you one final thing in this list of 10 takes, and I will defend this to the death. They do not rig eliminations. Again, I'll say it a little bit louder for those of you in the back who may not have heard or may not want to hear. They do not rig eliminations or any part of the game for that matter. Those are planned in advance. They don't pick or change them based on who ends up in them. It's not feasible. They do not do it. Stop it with your conspiracy theories. They got to stop. Do they hook up the pairings from time to time? Sure they do. They get to pick that part going into the season. Do they know what people's strengths are and put more or less of that into the agenda for the season to maybe help certain people out? Sure, they do. But outright manipulation of what game is played by who or when doesn't happen. They don't rig it in that way. They never have. They never will, because it isn't possible. It wouldn't be possible. It's not possible. They do not rig eliminations. They do not rig daily challenges. Get over it. It doesn't happen. Woo! Those were some hot takes, huh? What'd I get right? What do you think I got wrong? I know you disagree with at least 1 to 10 of the 10 different things you just heard. Let me know in the comments below. Right, wrong, missing? Is there anything on this topic that should have been a part of this? Please let me know. I love feedback. I love banter. Let's talk it out. And if you like what you saw, hit that follow button, subscribe to this page. A lot more good stuff coming your way. And then these links that are about to pop up, they'll take you right on in to another set of 10 takes. You don't even have to wait. They're all right here, 100 in total. Enjoy. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you again soon.